They say knowledge is power, but history tells a darker story. Because every empire that ever rose didn't just conquer land, it conquered truth. From burning libraries to silencing philosophers, those in power have always known. If you can control what people know, you can control what they believe. And if you control belief, you control the world. The power. Behind the words, throughout history, wars have been fought for gold, land, and gods. But the most dangerous battles were fought over ideas. Empires understood something that many of us still forget. Information shapes reality. What people believe defines what they will fight for, what they will die for, and what they will never question. From ancient scrolls to digital screens, truth has always been filtered through the hands of power. And so, the story of civilization is also the story of how knowledge was guarded, manipulated, and weaponized. 1. Fire and silence. The first censorships. Before the internet, before printing, before even ink, knowledge lived in fragile forms. Clay tablets, animal skins, memory itself. In Mesopotamia, only priests and scribes could read the cuneiform tablets. To write was to wield divine authority. Ordinary people were not allowed to learn. Egypt followed the same pattern. The scribes of Pharaoh carried the keys to eternity, inscribing secrets into tombs and temples, while the masses worshipped what they could not read. Knowledge was never meant to be shared. It was meant to be controlled. When the Library of Alexandria burned, we mourned the loss of wisdom. But for some, that fire was not a tragedy. It was a victory, because libraries are dangerous to empires built on obedience. Books question. Ideas spread. Truth destabilizes power. The Roman Emperor Augustus once said, "It is better to appear wise than for the people to become so." And so began a long tradition, where those who ruled determined what knowledge could exist. The sacred monopoly. Religion and the control of truth. When Rome fell, faith replaced empire, but power never disappeared. It merely changed robes. In medieval Europe, the church became the new custodian of knowledge. Scriptures were written in Latin, a language deliberately kept beyond the reach of common people. To read the Bible yourself was heresy. To question a priest was rebellion. For centuries, truth was chained to the altar. When monks copied ancient texts, they decided what was preserved and what was forgotten. Entire philosophies vanished because they threatened doctrine. The scrolls of Epicurus, the works of Hypatia, the science of Alexandria, lost, suppressed, or burned. It wasn't ignorance that kept humanity in the Dark Ages. It was control. Because an uninformed mind obeys, an awakened one does not. 3. The Renaissance, knowledge reborn, power challenged. Then something extraordinary happened. A German craftsman named Johannes Gutenberg built a machine that broke the monopoly of truth, the printing press. For the first time in history, words could escape the control of priests and kings. Books became weapons, pamphlets sparked revolutions, and knowledge, once sacred, became public. But power does not yield easily. The church banned books, excommunicated scientists, and burned anyone who challenged the official story. Giordano Bruno, a philosopher, was executed in 1600 for saying the universe had no center. His final words, "Perhaps you pronounce this sentence against me with greater fear than I receive it." Galileo was forced to kneel and recant his discovery that the earth moved around the sun, but quietly he whispered, "Eppur si muove," and yet it moves. Knowledge had broken free, but it would always come at a price. 4. The Age of Reason and the Invisible Empire. The Enlightenment promised freedom through reason. Thinkers like Voltaire, Kant, and Rousseau believed that truth belonged to everyone and that ignorance was the root of tyranny. But as knowledge spread, a new kind of empire emerged. one built not on religion or swords, but on information itself. Governments began to understand that if they could not suppress knowledge, they could shape it. They could decide what to teach, what to print, what to glorify, and what to erase. Textbooks became tools of propaganda. Histories were rewritten to serve nations, heroes crafted to inspire loyalty, and enemies demonized to justify wars. Napoleon once said, "What is history but a fable agreed upon?" And he was right. The victors wrote the books, and the truth became negotiable. 5. The modern prophets: science, media, and manipulation. As the modern world rose, knowledge shifted again, from priests to professors, from cathedrals to laboratories. Science promised objectivity, facts, not faith, evidence, not authority, but even science was not immune to power. When Galileo was silenced, the church used religion to control truth. When governments silenced scientists, they used patriotism, funding, and fear. The Cold War proved that information was the ultimate weapon: Soviet censorship, Western propaganda. Each side claimed truth, and each shaped reality to fit its narrative. Then came television. Images replaced books, emotion replaced thought. The message was no longer about truth, but about belief. By the 20th century, the philosopher Marshall McLuhan warned, "The medium is the message." It was no longer what you knew, but who controlled the screen. 6. The digital empire, controlling the infinite. And now, we live in the age of the algorithm. The internet began as a promise: freedom of information, equality of access, truth at your fingertips. But what began as liberation has quietly become the most sophisticated system of control in human history. Empires no longer burn books, they bury them under noise. They don't silence thinkers, they drown them in distraction. Truth hasn't disappeared, it's been diluted. Social media feeds us endless information but filters it through invisible systems of profit and influence. Each click builds a mirror world, a personal reality shaped by unseen code. The new rulers don't wear crowns, they write algorithms. They decide what we see, what we miss, what we believe. And the scariest part? We call it freedom. We are the first civilization to be hypnotized by its own reflection, believing we are informed while being quietly guided by invisible hands. 7. The forbidden library. If every empire tries to control knowledge, then somewhere, hidden from the public, there must always exist the forbidden library. In ancient China, the first emperor burned books to erase all history before his reign. In Nazi Germany, libraries turned to ash in the name of purity. In modern times, whistleblowers vanish, archives are sealed, and classified documents outlive the people who wrote them. But truth is stubborn. It survives in whispers, in fragments, in secret corners of the web, in forgotten languages and banned manuscripts. Every age believes it has reached enlightenment, and every age hides its own darkness. The forbidden library never disappears. It just moves deeper underground. 8. The philosophy of control. The control of knowledge is not just a political act, it is a philosophical weapon, because truth is not only what is said, it's what is believed, and belief is born from trust. Empires have always known this. To rule minds, you don't need to erase truth. You only need to make people doubt it. Cynicism replaces curiosity. Distraction replaces depth. And soon, people stop seeking knowledge altogether. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once warned, "Only the educated are free." But what happens when education itself becomes another illusion of freedom? When the mind, overwhelmed with data, forgets how to discern meaning? That is the quiet victory of the modern empire. Not through force, but through fatigue. 9. Remembering the real revolution. The real revolution was never fought with weapons. It was fought with words, with ink, with memory. Every act of writing, every discovery, every question was a rebellion against control. Socrates questioning Athens, Hypatia teaching in defiance of Rome, Galileo looking through his telescope, and the scientists today who challenge their governments and corporations alike. They all share the same lineage, because knowledge is not meant to be owned. It is meant to be shared. Every empire falls eventually, but knowledge, when passed from one questioning mind to another, endures. That is the true secret of history. Truth cannot be destroyed, only delayed. The light behind the curtain. The story of knowledge is the story of humanity itself, a cycle of discovery and suppression, revelation and control. Empires rise and fall, but the desire to know, to understand, outlives them all. In every era, there are those who guard truth and those who seek it. Sometimes they are the same person. So, the next time you open a book or question a headline or wonder why some knowledge feels harder to find, remember, you are part of a lineage older than empires. Because truth doesn't belong to the powerful. It belongs to those who refuse to stop looking for it. If you found this exploration insightful, give this video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to Timeless Questions channel for more deep dives into philosophy, history, and human nature.